Yes.
And when you've got a movie like I'm Not There, which is impressionistic about Bob Dylan's life and artistic choices, do you look at this and think to yourself a little bit, I'm a celebrated figure, somebody's maybe making an impressionistic film about my life someday, taking their impressions of what they gather, and all of a sudden putting that into something on the big screen?
No, I don't. I would never compare myself to Dylan. I'm
not comparing, but just saying that the way the celebrity machine these days seems to churn out stories about people, create myths about people, and then they get turned into something else.
And do you think that I'm sitting around thinking that could be happening to me?
Not maybe this year, but in 10 years from now?
Well, I haven't given it any thought. No, I haven't, and I think it would be a pretty boring movie, and it'd be a lot less complicated, perhaps, than I'm Not There.
And what your section with Charlotte Gainsbourg? She plays an abstract artist. She's French. You have children together. She's sort of ignored in the relationship. It's a period of Dylan's life where they're showing him as a man with faults. How truthful do you think a movie, which is a fiction, should be about a person inspired as it is by a person who is real?
I think what Todd was out to achieve in this portrait of Dylan is to kind of preserve his mystique, and therefore, like, these stories, these events, these words that we say are not direct quotes. They're not. Todd didn't pretend to assume to know exactly who Bob Dylan is, because in the end of the day, it's very hard to kind of summarize yourself, categorize yourself, let alone someone you've never met and someone you truly don't know, and and so Todd respectfully avoided that, and so. I think that's what I truly admire about the film is in a sense you walk out of the movie, or at least my experience of it is you walk out with the movie you don't really gain you don't feel like you've been spoon-fed an opinion of who Dylan was. In fact, you don't really walk out with that much more knowledge on him, I feel, but you do something on a subconscious level. Like, you do walk out with something, and it's very hard to put your finger on what it is. It's like you walk out with fragrances of him, but nothing particular. And I think that's the highly respectful thing about the film. Yeah.
Do you find when you're making this and you're Robbie, that actually once the movie gets going, that you stop thinking about Bob Dylan, the real person, and Bob Dylan, the legend, and it really doesn't enter into what you're doing then once you're actually there working?
Definitely. I think definitely in my circumstance that was the case. I had to drop it, and also carrying that around, that sort of responsibility, I think, can taint your performance. It can creep up on your nerves, and I think that was more or less something that Todd had to worry about, and certainly not me. Perhaps some of the other actors had more of a responsibility to keep Dylan in the back of their minds, but it was hard to escape him. I mean, we constantly had Dylan music playing on set. Everyone was running around, humming his songs, or. So his spirit, his soul was constantly around the Smokey set.
Do you have a favorite Dylan song and a favorite Dylan period?
This was like the only question that I thought I could prepare for, and I went into my music catalog and wrote out a whole list of songs which I thought were my favorites, but the honest answer to that question is no, I don't. There are too many, and I could pretend to have one favorite song and one favorite album, but I really can't do that for you. There are too many, and I appreciate so many, if not all of them, that it'd be hard to kind of highlight one.
Are you a musician as well as an actor? Do you play guitar and do you sing, and would you ever do, I don't know, have you been in a band?
No, I haven't been in a band. I've been around bands, and I work with bands. I direct music videos, and I run a small independent label.
Record label?
Yeah.
Called?
The Masses, and it's with a whole bunch of my friends. We're all just young creators, and we all, share responsibility kind of thing. There's no hierarchy.
Is that here in New York, in Brooklyn?
No, it's not. It's in Los Angeles, actually, and. But we have people in the company who are here in New York. But no, I can play guitar and I can sing, but I sing in the shower and I play guitar kind of when I'm by myself, and I'm learning how to play the piano and kind of. But it's I don't have any aspirations to kind of put out a record or something. I couldn't if I wanted to anyway. I think.
Now, you earlier this year, you were in Candy, which was a doomed romance between two junkies that was shot in Australia. You've done this movie. You've got The Dark Knight coming as the Joker. What's next? Do you know?
Well, in 3 weeks' time, I start filming with Terry Gilliam on the...
Back with the man that you had so much success with the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, well... Success is relative, I guess, isn't it? That was a success for me because I was working with one of my heroes, and since then we've, stayed and developed a really personal, close friendship and trust, and I'd really do anything. I'd cut carrots and serve the catering on a Gilliam film. I really love the guy, and so yeah, I'm doing The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus with Christopher Plummer and Tom Waits and a young actress or model, turning actress called Lily Cole, and Andrew Garfield, another young inspiring actor to be, and then I do the Terrence Malick movie right after that, the Tree of Life, and then I'll drop to the ground dead for a year and hibernate.
What you said about Terry Gilliam, the way you talked about him so reverently, even romantically, as a hero, makes me think that actors are not maybe. Part of being the profession is you can't really be a cynic about life. You've got to be open or hopeful or optimistic or romantic. Do you think that's true because of the art that you're doing, of delving into other people's lives and believing that every time you start a movie it's going to turn out well?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I don't know whether it's optimism or just kind of it's sometimes you have to kind of throw away the care. Like, you have to not be too conscious of what will be a success and what won't be, because that's out of your power. And like I said, what is success? And so I try to look at what I feel like because for me, what a success is the only time that I'm alive and living and expressing and feeling and relating is when I'm on set, and that time between action and cut. And so that's the only thing that's really important, is how that experience is, and how that experience will affect my life and what I have to give from my life to that experience. And everything that happens after that is just irrelevant. It's